You're looking for a Wi-Fi solution that won't quit on you after a few months, that can sit in the ceiling or on a pole and just work, and that actually feels worth the money you spend, not just a list of flashy specs you can't translate into everyday reliability. Maybe you've already tried a couple of consumer routers that choke under a handful of laptops, or you've watched a video of a next-gen access point and wondered whether it's really the kind of thing that will keep your office or venue humming all day. The hesitation you feel is normal, especially when the product sits at the high end of the price range and promises enterprise-grade performance that sounds like it belongs in a data center, not in the hallway outside a coffee shop. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes, I'll walk through what the UniFi E7 audience actually delivers in a real-world setting, who should be excited about it, and who might be better off looking elsewhere. I've spent the past week reading through the official specs, digging into the UniFi controller docs, and scanning the 905 Amazon reviews that landed it at a 4.2-star average. That rating tells you most users are happy, but it also hints there are some bumps you'll want to know about before you click Add to Cart. First off, the E7 audience is designed as an indoor and outdoor access point. That dual environment rating isn't just marketing fluff. It means the chassis meets an IP rating that lets you mount it under an awning or in a lobby without worrying about rain or dust getting inside. For a campus that needs coverage across a covered walkway and a library reading room, that flexibility cuts down on the number of different AP models you have to buy, stock, and manage. The product also boasts wind loading certification, so if you're putting it on a rooftop or a high-traffic outdoor terrace, it's built to stay put even when a gust comes through. What really sets it apart from the older UniFi 6 series is the step up to Wi-Fi 7. In plain English, that translates to better handling of many simultaneous devices, lower latency for things like video conferencing, and the ability to use the new 320 MHz channel width in the 6 GHz band. If you run a co-working space where dozens of freelancers are streaming, uploading large files, and hopping on Zoom calls at the same time, you'll notice the difference. The spatial streams on the E7 allow each radio to talk to multiple clients in parallel, which means you're not fighting for airtime the way you would with a single stream AP. Now, the upside comes with a few practical trade-offs. The E7 is a UniFi product, which means you'll need to run the UniFi network controller software either on a local server, a cloud key, or a hosted instance. For anyone who has never touched the UniFi controller, the learning curve can feel steep. The interface is powerful, but you'll be looking at SSID profiles, radio profiles, and a whole set of radio chain settings that most consumer routers hide behind a single toggle. If you're a small business owner who just wants to plug in a device and have it work, you'll probably spend a few evenings getting the controller set up, creating separate SSIDs for guests and staff, and tweaking power levels to avoid interference with neighboring buildings. That effort pays off in stability, but it's not a sit-and-forget experience. Power is another point to consider. The E7 supports a range of power methods, including 802.3 at PoE+, and a dedicated power inlet for locations where PoE isn't practical. In a modern office that already has PoE switches in the ceiling tiles, you can run a single Ethernet cable that both powers and connects the AP. In older facilities, you may need to run a separate power line or install a PoE injector, which adds a small cost and a bit of extra wiring work. Once it's powered, the AP's LEDs give you a quick visual cue about status link, uplink, and radio health so you can spot an issue without logging into the controller immediately. The max BSSIDs spec isn't just a number on a data sheet, it matters if you need to broadcast multiple virtual networks. A university might have separate SSIDs for students, faculty, guests, and IoT devices, each with its own security policy. The E7 can handle that without choking, which is a big win for administrators who need granular control. On the flip side, that flexibility means you have to plan those networks carefully. If you throw 10 SSIDs into a single AP without considering channel usage, you can actually degrade performance. So the device rewards thoughtful configuration. Let's talk about the value proposition. At its price point, the E7 sits higher than a typical small office AP, but you're buying a unit that can survive outdoor weather, handle high-density traffic, and future-proof your network for the next few years of Wi-Fi 7 devices. The 4.2-star rating suggests most buyers feel the cost is justified when they need that level of reliability.